Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So I thought we'll do a short video and catch up on where we're up to with our project, and maybe get you guys in the loop into what we're currently working on and some of the challenges we're going through, and maybe you can use some of the ideas that we're thinking about and implement it in your own business as well. Okay, so I guess the topic that we want to talk about is some of the marketing efforts and some of the marketing projects that we're working on. So Charlotte here is helping me with a lot of the marketing projects, and one of the big ones that we are really focused on is the Facebook ads, and trying to leverage Facebooks and social media to promote our business. So I know, well, so what's happened, to give you guys a bit of a background, we don't really have anyone specialized in marketing. And I know that a lot of business owners out there are not marketers. Yeah, so you wouldn't be, a specialist in marketing. A lot of business owners would be very good at doing something. For example, maybe making coffee. If you're a chef, you might open up a restaurant and you're just really good at cooking something, or you're an accountant like me, or possibly a real estate agent. Whatever field that you're in, you tend to be very good at what you do. But when you start a business, you're forced to take on a lot more roles that you're not used to. And it's something that you just have to do. You cannot avoid it. And one of the roles that I myself, I'm not a specialist, or I don't specialize in marketing at all because I'm an accountant. I have my wife and I, we had to go through a journey of going through and learning, utilizing the powers of social media. Now I know a lot of you guys would be familiar with social medias like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. But the question that a lot of you guys may be asking, same as myself when I first started, is, well, how do you actually leverage these tools and all of these platforms to promote your business? Is it just a matter of just writing posts? Is it just a matter of writing posts, or is it just a matter of, just posting random things, or photos, or memes, or what is it? So, and then it's like, well, everyone says you should be investing in social media. Like, how much should you be investing in social media? Like, how much should you be paying? And then how do I know how much money, or whether the money that I'm spending is, giving me value, giving me a value for my money? And those are some of the things that you're going to be, you might be struggling when you're starting out. And those are some of the information that, or those are some of the things that I struggled with when I first started. Okay, so right now, and I guess in order to overcome that, whenever you have a knowledge gap, is either you invest in yourself by learning and trying to upskill yourself, or what we did was we actually engaged with some consultants. Okay, so there are a few consultants that we engage with to help us with our marketing strategies in terms of utilizing Facebook. So what were some of the things that you've learned utilizing Facebook? So we just want to focus on Facebook for now, and then we're going to expand onto other platforms later. Okay, so what do we have at the moment? We have our website, and we have our Facebook.
We have all other social media platforms like Instagram.
We have Instagram, Twitter,
LinkedIn.
And we are currently posting everything at the moment.
Yeah, in Facebook, and I think it's with other social media accounts as well. So we do post on a regular or on a consistent basis. So it's not really every day, but it's very consistent.
What do you currently do right now in terms of looking after the posts?
For the social media posting, I do manage that. So I post images. There are like different images that's relating to outsourcing, which is like what we do. Like memes, like there's also like articles being posted into our social media accounts, like some videos. We've tried posting some videos, just like motivational quotes and stuff like that. We haven't really figured out which one is actually like working.
Yeah.
So we're still testing it out. Like we're just posting random stuff at the moment and trying to check on the results and see which one works best for us and for the business.
Okay, so when you guys are starting out, what's very difficult is knowing what resonates with your audience. And in order to know what that is and to be able to answer the question of what resonates with your audience and what connects with the audience, you have to be exploring lots of different types of contents. And I guess that's what you've been doing,
Yes,
Charlotte? So it's been exploring. So we have some success and there are success and there are things that are just not working.
Yeah.
So we take a note of that. I think you also mentioned that posting different times of the day.
Different time would also matter because it depends on like which location you're trying to target, I guess. You're trying to identify like which time like your audience or your target audience are most active because that's when you want to post your stuff on the social media.
So what's difficult for us is we have 2 time zones that we have to kind of be able to target. One's in the US and, you know, the East Coast and the West Coast, they start working at different time and then have to try and hit the Sydney time zone. So being able to balance that is quite difficult, isn't it? That's very unique for
We're
our
still trying
situation.
to find like a time that would hit both time zone, like Australian and the American target.
And that's something that you just gotta figure out on your own, and no expert can tell you what that is.
Just need to keep on testing.
Yeah, so I know that a lot of you guys may think that getting a consultant and engaging with people and paying all this money for marketing strategies, even though you do all that, they don't have all the answers. A lot of the time, you have to do your own homework. You have to actually figure that out on your own. Nobody can tell you who your target market is or who is best attracted to your business. Only you will have that answer. And that's something that we have to work on. So we are actually, we've got some time frames that we know that works best for us. And that's something that you can do.
Yep.
So what else did you learn about Facebook?
Facebook ads.
Yeah, Facebook ads in the last year.
Yeah, so Facebook can do a lot of like amazing things. Basically, like a lot of people have proven that Facebook ads really helped in increasing their sales. But the main point here is that you don't really expect sales to happen the very first time you post an ad onto Facebook, okay? But what you can get out from it, like every time you post something or you post an ad, Facebook would be able to capture like information of those audience that was that were able to view or like were able to see your ads. As you keep on doing that, like over time, all this information will be collected and will be saved into like a database.
Yeah. So Facebook captures all of that. Facebook saves all of that.
Yes.
So they collect all this information.
They don't really tell you what are those information, but you know that they have it.
Yeah. So they hold on to all this information for you. And that's the amazing thing. When you're investing in Facebook and you're paying for all these ads, what you're saying, Charlotte, is even though you may not be making a sale, but as long as your audience is interacting with your ads
Just seeing
or
it.
interacting with your contents, as soon as they touch your content, Facebook records that and holds on to that information for you. So all of those value, all these money that you pay, doesn't actually, doesn't actually get wasted or disappear. It actually stores all this information in a database for you.
Yep.
And so what you're paying for is for Facebook to retain all of those data. And those data allow you to retarget, and those data allow you to re-advertise to those people who have interacted with your business in the past. Now, it's very different. For example, if you put an ad in a newspaper and you run a newspaper ad for maybe a month, you don't know who's going to look at your ad, right? You don't know. You only know when they start to inquire. They call into your business and say, hey, I'm interested in your services, or I'm interested to buy something from you. That's the only time that you will know. What's different with Facebook is even if you don't make a sale, as soon as they open it, they look at it, they scroll through it, Facebook knows. Facebook holds onto that information. And that's the value that you are paying for.
Yep.
And when I understood that, it just blew my mind. It just was like, wow. So it really allowed me just to gain that confidence to be able just to invest in the Facebook platform. And a lot of social media platforms do this. That's the premises of the value which they bring to and they give to us, our businesses, is that data. You are paying for information, information of your target audience. And that is so different, or that's an opportunity that's completely wide open compared to what was available to you in the past. So in the past, you had none of those options.
Yep.
So it's quite amazing.
Yeah. And as you keep on retargeting these people or these audiences, what will happen is it will also lead them into the next stage of your sales process.
So I think what you're talking about is the sales funnel.
The sales funnel, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a sales funnel. Okay. So when you're working on your sales activities, one of the key things that you should be focusing on, or the things that you should be focusing on, is not to immediately expect to get a sale, because going from cold audience to selling is very difficult especially if your services or your product is quite large in value. Okay, so it takes the audience more time to evaluate and to determine whether or not they want to use your services, because the risk is higher. So instead of going from 0 to 100% and taking on your service, what you can do is take little small steps. Allow your audience to take little small steps towards purchasing your product or towards taking up your services. And those little small steps along the way, which guide your audience towards your ultimate goal of selling, that's called the sales funnel. And I encourage everyone to develop that sales funnel for yourself. So, for example, if someone inquires, getting someone to inquire can be one step, okay? And then being able to record the name and the phone number can be the second step, or getting their email can be the second step. And then getting them to, attend a meeting is another step. And then once you have a meeting, you can get them to take a look at your proposal. And once they take a look at your proposal, then you can get them to sign the document. And then after they sign the documents, they can look to pay maybe put a deposit for your product or services, and then go on to your final step of completing that sales. So all of those steps can be seen as little small steps towards the ultimate aim of selling. And when you are able to put those little small steps together, you effectively have created a sales funnel. And now you can focus on not only just being able to sell and ultimately get the final sale, you can get little small wins along the way. Even though they don't buy, you may be able to get their phone number so you can call them back in the future. Even though they don't buy, you might be able to get them to take a look at your proposal, to consider it. They may not want your services now, but that can change in the future. You never know.
Yeah.
So it's important that you break up your sales process into little small steps. And it's no different to the marketing efforts. When you're working on social media, there are also little small wins that you can have along the way. So, let's say, for my example, we are a service company where the ultimate aim is to sign someone up to take up our service. Now, getting someone completely cold to signing up to our service, that's going from 0 to 100%. Now, if we were to break that up, for example, we can get someone to take a look at our Facebook ad. That can be step number 1. Just look at it. We don't need you to buy anything. Just take a look at our ad, just to view it. So taking a look at it can mean a lot of different things. Now, is it an image ad? Is it just a picture? Or do you have a video? Now, your video might go for maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes long, or maybe even longer. So your next objective is to say, I want someone to watch the video for maybe 10 seconds, and then increase that to 1 minute, and then increase that to 5 minutes. So those are little objectives that you can target along the way. And Facebook actually allows you to do this. Allows you to create certain campaigns where Facebook will help you achieve these goals. And you can break these goals down into little pieces like that. Now, once they have watched your video, what you can target next is get them to visit your website. So after they watch your video and they like your video, get them to visit your website. That can be the next step along your sales funnel. And once they have, so taking a look at your website is the next step. And then once they take a look at it, you may want them to maybe sign up or inquire or download a brochure. Okay, so getting them to engage and interact in a certain way on your website is the next step after that. And then finally, getting them to sign up or go through a sales presentation before signing up. So that can also be incorporated into your sales funnel, the social media path. And that's something that you should be working on. That's what we've been working on. And it's a lot of work, guys. I know it's a lot of work, but it's going to give you a lot of rewards. It takes time. Anything that's worth anything takes a lot of time.
You have to be patient.
Yeah. So while we are developing all of these sales funnel, we've discovered there's a lot of weaknesses in our funnel right now, and the weaknesses are what we've discovered is that our SEO is not very good for our website. So we're getting a lot of engagement on Facebook, but once they get to our website,
They just leave.
There's a lot of bounce rate because it's not very the website isn't up to scratch. So we had to go through and rebuild our website. You're like me, where you get a web developer in and they build you a website. The problem with a lot of the website that you get guys to develop for you is that they use tools or web tools that are available on the market. And if you're not careful, those tools can actually harm your efforts in generating leads, because certain tools are more efficient than others. In our particular case, our website, even though it looks really nice and fancy, what we discovered was that in the background, our website, the code was very heavy, was very bloated. And it made it very difficult for the search engine to find us because it's so bloated with so much code. And a lot of time, the reason why it's bloated and there's a lot of codes is because these web developers are using page builders, which helps build your page. It speeds up the process. It makes it easier for these web developers to build your website. But the consequence of using these tools is that it just builds in a lot of bloat in your website. So it slows it down, and it adds a lot of unnecessary codes, and it just makes it very difficult for search engine to find you because of all the mess that's on your website. So we had to go back and rebuild it and rebuild from scratch to make sure that it's clean, make sure that we remove all the unnecessary codes, and make sure that it's easy for the search engine to find us. I've been focusing on the website and the IT side of things, where Charlotte's been working on the contents.
Yeah. So the other thing I would like to mention is that when you post organic posts, even though you don't really see people liking it, there's no really visible interaction in those posts. What it does is it actually help lessen or lower the cost of your ads, depending on the number of people that your post was able to reach. So that's why you have to just keep posting it.
Keep working on it
and post it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So you don't need people to like it. You don't need people to buy or engage in your service just because they've seen your post in the social media.
Yeah. So all the organic stuff, all the things that you do on a daily basis, that actually impacts on the cost of your ads. Yeah. Okay, so if you engage and you provide contents to Facebook and you provide good contents to Facebook, Facebook will reward you with making your ads cheaper.
That's right.
So you need to work on it. So it's not something that you can just pay and forget.
But what you don't want to do is to actually spam Facebook as well, like with your posts. So make sure that the post that you do in Facebook is something that's engaging to the audience. Because once just more people who engage to your posts, that's when you'll get the reward, right? People like it when you do something that attracts audience to stay on Facebook or use Facebook.
Yeah. So I hope you guys got some information out of that. I think we'll just leave it there for now. So I think the video has gone long enough. So I hope that kind of give you some insight into some things that we've done, and you may want to go back and implement it yourself. Okay.
So so far that's what we've been working on when it comes to our marketing efforts. I hope you guys learn from it, and we'll leave it there for now.
So if there's any questions that you have, or there's some things that you want to discuss, please drop a comment below.
Or maybe tips for us as well, things that we can improve on, that we can use.
That's right. So something that you want to leave for us, we want to hear from you. Okay. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for
watching.
For watching and joining us. We'll leave it there for now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.